Hey everyone, welcome back to another World of Warcraft Dragonflight Alpha video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Retribution Paladin talent tree. So if you have not seen my first video checking out the talent trees, which was for Protection Paladin, I would encourage you to go check that out. In that video, I do give a pretty thorough overview of the class side of the talent tree. Today, we're going to spend most of our time in this video in the specialization side of the talent tree. We're going to look through and we're just going to take a look at what talents and skills and things are available, all with an eye towards creating a build that's going to be good for questing, leveling, and just kind of solo content out there in the open world. That being said, please throw a like or a thumbs up on the video if you're enjoying this series of videos, or if you like this video, and let me know in the comment section below what you think of the series and whether or not you'd like to see more content like this from me beyond the alpha. I really am using your feedback that you're giving as an indicator to help me figure out whether or not that's something that I want to do. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to jump in here. We need to equip our two-hander. Bam, there we go. And we're going to check out the talent trees. So we are spec'd Retribution. It looks like we are given Hammer of Wrath and the Auras of Swift Vengeance as our starting talents here. We're going to take a look at the spell book and see what spells we are being granted without taking any talents at all. During this video, I'm going to assume you have a pretty good working knowledge of Retribution Paladin. I'm not going to describe every single spell and every single talent in detail. I'm mostly just going to check out the things that are new or the things that I need a refresher on. Retribution Paladin is one that I play sometimes. I am almost always in protection mode on Paladin. I almost said on Protection Paladin because, like, Protection Paladin, that's just my natural go-to. I have played a fair bit of Retribution, though, and especially in the later expansions that we've had here, I've checked it out a little bit more thanks to some things that, like Wake of Ashes and stuff that have made the spec a little bit more enjoyable, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and check this out. So we have our Consecration, we've got Crusader Strike, we got our Divine Shield and Flash of Light, Hammer of Justice, Hand of Reckoning, Taunt. Probably not going to need that in the open world, but maybe, you never know when you want to help somebody out by throwing out a taunt. We got a Judgment, we've got our Res, Sense Undead, Shield of Righteous, which we're not going to use because we're not going to have a shield and it requires a shield. Word of Glory, which is going to be solid. I'm not sure if we'll get a better heal in the tree, but we'll see. We've got our Crusader Aura, Hammer of Wrath, Execute, Retribution Aura, Templar's Verdict as our damage-dealing Holy Power Spender. And then we have two passives here. We have Auras of Swift Vengeance, which is what gives us Retribution and Crusader Aura. And then we have our Mastery Hand of Light, which increases our holy damage done. All right, so, I mean, with this, we do have a rotation, throw down Consecration, spam Crusader Strike and Judgment to generate holy power, spend it on Templar's Verdict for damage, spend it on Word of Glory for healing, finish off the enemy with Hammer of Wrath. So, theoretically, you could just take this Paladin out the way it is, and you could actually get stuff done, which you can't do on every single spec that's out there. Some of them just don't have the skills available to really do much of anything. So it's cool that Paladin has that. All right, so over here, I think we're going to do something similar to what we did last time. We're going to pick up everything for Divine Steed. We're going to come down this way and pick up all this stuff and head into the damage dealing side of the tree. That kind of leaves us in a bad spot. We'll pick up Blessing of Freedom there. Just to kind of pick that up. Yeah, it looks like that's what we're going to go for. We're going to go for Avenging Wrath. We're going to grab Blessing of Protection so that we can get the cooldown reduction on Avenging Wrath. We're going to go here, 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 here. We got 4 points left to spend. So we're going to grab that. And we're going to grab Blinding Light. We're going to get Rebuke. We got 1 point left to spend. I don't remember what I put this in. Oh, we'll get Lay on Hands. I mean, it's a 10-minute cooldown, but it can save your butt sometimes. All right, so we'll get the cooldown reduction there. We get Consecration damage increase. And that. So this is going to be our class side of the tree. So we won't go over this again later, but just to keep in mind, we've got reduction on our stun when we spend holy power. We've got haste increased. We've got this weird thing, which we'll check out more in actual, questing content, not really against the target dummy. Increased damage on holy power spending abilities, speed and avoidance increased, concentration damage increased, attacks have a chance to debuff the target and let us deal more holy damage to them. And then also Hammer, Wrath, and Judgment are going to deal increased damage and extend Avenging Wrath, which we picked up here, and we have the reduced cooldown on it. We also grabbed Judgment, making the target take increased holy damage from our next holy power ability, as well as Divine Purpose, which gives our holy power abilities a chance to make the next holy power ability we deal free and cause it to do increased damage. Along with that, we grab Crusader Strike not Crusader Strike, Divine Steed with a extra charge and also increased duration. Okay, so we're going to get over into the Retribution side of the tree, and we're going to go through and look at the active abilities first. They're the ones that are in these kind of boxes. Then we're going to check out the choices we have, which are going to be these nodes here with the arrows on them. And then we'll check out the actual passives, the circle abilities here, circle nodes, as we go through and create our build. So we have our Blade of Justice, which we're going to want to grab. So that works effectively like our Avenger's Shield in the rotation. Like the same kind of one we did for protection, right? So this is going to be the holy power generating ability that we're going to cast. It has a fairly long cooldown that we're going to want to try to reset through various abilities. We have Divine Storm, so this is going to be our AoE holy power spender. We're probably going to want to pick that up just to have that. Otherwise, we're kind of SOL on Retribution Paladin for AoE at the moment. So then we have Shield of Vengeance, so 2-minute cooldown that creates a barrier of holy light. And then when that barrier expires, it erupts into holy damage based on the amount absorbed to nearby enemies. Cool. It's like a defensive, offensive kind of combo here. It does come at the cost of a 2-minute cooldown, but it also leads into Wake of Ashes, so we're getting it. We're getting it. Either this way or this way, we're going to get it. So we do have Wake of Ashes there. We've got Exorcism, sorry. 20-second cooldown. It's going to blast the target with Holy Light and burn them for additional damage. Applies the damage over time effect to nearby enemies if the target is standing in your consecration. And it stuns demon and undead targets for 5 seconds. So 20-second cooldown, solid amount of damage, and burns the target. And then if we're in consecration, which we should be, it'll apply that burn to the other targets in the area. Pretty low numbers for that burn. It's weird to me how they put these numbers together, because sometimes it's like, hey, this rogue is going to do 5,000 bleed damage over 12 seconds. And then this is like, it's going to do 279 holy damage every 2 seconds for 12 seconds. Like, the disparity between those two is huge. Like, do we even care? Maybe we do. I don't know. Those numbers don't seem very impressive, though. We have Hand of Hindrance, so this is going to reduce the target's movement speed. We have Divine Toll. Super awesome ability. I like it more on Protection Paladin just because shields go bang and clang and they look awesome. But still a solid ability. We've got Execution Sentence, so 1-minute cooldown. A hammer slowly falls from the sky upon the target. After 8 seconds, they take a buttload of holy damage, plus 20% of the damage taken from your abilities during that time. Pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see if maybe we could reduce the cooldown by 15 seconds or something like that. And then we have Final Reckoning, a 1-minute cooldown. Call down a blast of heavenly energy, dealing a ton of holy damage to all targets in the area and causing them to take 50% increased damage from your holy power abilities for 8 seconds. Passive, while it's off cooldown, your attacks have a high chance to call out a bolt that deals holy damage and causes the target to take increased damage from your next holy power ability. So super cool. Also nice that it comes with a passive that's going to help you out as well. As far as the choices go, we've got Sanctification. So Consecration, periodic damage has a chance to grant you 1 holy power. And this increases up to 4 targets within Consecration. Every 12 seconds in combat, you just gain a holy power. Here we have Art of War has a chance to reset the cooldown of Wake of Ashes instead of Blade of Justice. That is spicy. Okay. Or Path of Ruin, which replaces Wake of Ashes. So Wake of Ashes is going to be a buttload of damage to all enemies within 12 yards. Reduce their movement speed. And then demon and undead enemies also get stunned, and it generates 3 holy power. Path of Ruin is going to deal damage as well. Reduce. Okay. It turns it into a 15-second cooldown, 3 holy power ability. What? Okay, it doesn't do as much damage, but it's doing 3,000 damage. Okay, so what are our other abilities doing here? So Blade of Justice has an 11-second cooldown, but doesn't cost holy power, and it deals 1,300. That is interesting. I would be interested in trying out a build where you do Path of Ruin and see how that goes, and also trying out a build where you do Ashes to Dust and have a chance to get Wake of Ashes, the full version, just reset. Both of those are spicy and very interesting to me. I don't know which one we're going to pick in this build, but I would definitely want to try both of them. Then here we have Avenging Wrath buff here to cause it to grant a damage increase. Or Crusade. Call upon the light and begin a crusade, increasing your haste. And then each holy power spent during crusade increases haste. Max 10 stacks. If Avenging Wrath is known, it also grants 3% damage per stack. So both spicy there as well. I'd want to try both of them. Here we have Crusader Strike has a chance to make your next Divine Storm free and deal additional damage. So kind of leaning into the AoE there. Or it reduces the cooldown of Crusader Strike and grants it a chance to make your next ability consume 1 less holy power regardless of what it is. Okay, so basically you can go for this one if you want the AoE, this one if you want more of an all-purpose kind of bonus. All right, over here we have Consecration Larger. And this one, Consecration is larger and you cannot be slowed below 80% if you're within your Consecration. I don't really care about either one of those, to be honest. Over here we have Selfless Healer. Your holy power spending abilities reduce the cast time of your next flash of light and increases healing done. Stacks up to 4 times, so you can get a instant cast flash of light. This is generally really good. Or Healing Hands. The cooldown of Lay of Hands is reduced to 60% based on the target's missing health. Word of Glory's healing is increased based on the target's missing health. Ooh, those are both spicy. 2 different ways to heal. So, that's interesting. We'd have to try that out in practice, right? So on Protection Paladin, I like Word of Glory healing being increased because you don't have the opportunity to get an instant cast flash of light with bonus healing. You do have that option here, and on this side, I don't know that we're going to have a way to cause Word of Glory to be cast for free. So I think generally I would want to go for this to get a free flash of light. So that we're not spending our holy power on non-damaging abilities. So our flash of light is dealing 3,200 healing. Word of Glory is doing 4,400. So it does more, but it eats our holy power. And this choice talent here increases the Word of Glory's healing by up to 100% based on missing health. Whereas this one gives us 40% additional healing and instant cast. Yeah, so it really comes down to, like, I think I would lean towards the free, or the instant flash of light. But I don't know. It depends on whether or not it feels bad to use your holy power on Word of Glory. Over here, we have Justicar's Vengeance. So this is the big 5 holy power ability that deals not a whole lot of damage, honestly, but it restores health equal to the damage done, and the damage is increased by 50% when used against a stunned target. Still not very good compared to something like Wake of Ashes, but what you have to keep in mind is this has no cooldown, and it does cost 5 holy power, so theoretically you could, build up holy power very quickly and pump out a lot of damage with this thing. Or we have Eye for an Eye, 1 minute cooldown. Surround yourself with a bladed bulwark, reducing physical damage taken and dealing damage to any melee attackers for 10 seconds. So, that's a lot to take in. We've got quite a few different things here. I'm liking a lot in this middle section for the choices. As far as the active skills go, Divine Toll is really nice. Execution Sentence seems pretty cool. But then Final Reckoning, I think I like a lot just for the fact that you can use it as a cooldown, but it also gives you a nice passive damage increase. So yeah, I'm also looking for ways to increase our survivability on this specialization through maybe instant heals or increased heals or some defensives or something like that. So we're going to be keeping an eye out for that stuff as well. All right, so we know we want to get Bladed Justice and Divine Storm. I'm not too worried about Shield of Vengeance unless we can't find other ways to defend ourselves as we go through. Right now, we only have Divine Shield, Flash of Light, and Blessing of Protection, I believe. So this could be a solid pickup if we can't find other ways to keep ourselves alive. So let's start looking into the passives here. Now I'm leaning, I think I'm leaning definitely middle and probably right side right now. But let's look. So your auto attacks have a chance to reset the cooldown of Bladed Justice. So this is giving us Art of War, which I think we definitely want to take. Now we have a lot of options. We've got to spend 5 points. So where do we want to head? We've got Shield of Vengeance, which I'm kind of whatever about heading there right now. We have Zeal. So Judgment empowers you with Holy Zeal, causing your next 3 auto attacks to occur faster and deal an additional holy damage. That's super cool. Or Art of War resets the cooldown of Blade of Justice 100% more often and increases its damage by 25%. I'm thinking I want to lean into this full Wake of Ashes reset sort of build just to try it out. So we'll probably go that direction, even though I think Zeal is also fairly cool. Reduce the cooldown of your Judgment ability by 1 second. So right now it's 11 seconds. So that would drop it down to 10. Crusader Strike has 2 charges. I do like that. Increase your Mastery. So increase, our holy damage dealt. Blade of Justice generates an additional holy power. And then increase the critical strike chance of your Blade of Justice by 5%. So I think we'll go for 2 charges. We'll go for... Do we want critical strike chance of Blade of Justice or Blade of Justice generates additional holy power? Let's go for holy power into Blade of Wrath. Let's grab Zeal as well. And let's grab this defensive because I didn't really see anything up here. Also, we need it to get Wake of Ashes. So, duh. So let's go Wake of Ashes and then let's go for Art of War. Yeah, I want to try that out for sure. Okay, so what do we have for passives? Increased damage dealt by Judgment. Templar's Verdict increases the damage of your next Templar's Verdict by 15%. So slamming multiple Templar's Verdicts is going to be pretty nice with that. Enemies hit by Divine Storm take more damage from Consecration, so that's cool leaning into the AoE. Blade of Justice cast with Art of War shatters the earth while emerging, casting consecration on the target's location. The limit on consecration does not apply to this effect. That is kind of cool if we can, like, if that works with this, which I'm assuming it should, it kind of can recast consecration for us, which I think sounds really nice. That sounds like a really nice quality of life thing. So let's put a point into that. Judgment has a chance to cast again and deal extra holy damage. So just passively just throw out another judgment. That seems nice. Blade of Justice. Critical hits cause the target to burn. Again, like, I don't know if this switches to Wake of Ashes. Like, I feel like it... No, I think... So this is... Art of War has a chance to reset the cooldown on Wake of Ashes instead of Blade of Justice. So I don't think anything applying to Blade of Justice without specifically talking about Art of War is going to apply, right? This specifically says Blade of Justice cast with Art of War shatters the earth. So that's why I think this would apply. However, this over here, your Blade of Justice critical hits would not apply because it doesn't have anything to do with Blade of Justice. Or sorry, it doesn't have anything to do with Wake of Ashes or the reset from Art of War, right? So this would specifically be for Blade of Justice, which we would still have and we would still use, right? It's the kind of the capstone here. Okay. Let's go for Fires of Justice, I think. What do we have over here? Your judgment has a chance to chain to a nearby enemy. Alright. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. That's potentially good. Maybe we pump stuff into here. I don't know if I want to put points into that. Oh, there's so many choices. I don't know. Like, this seems like a really good... to me, it seems like a really nice tree because I'm not sitting here going, oh, I don't want to take any of these points. I'm going, oh, man, I want to take, like, all these points. So what do I actually take? Wake of Ashes burns the target. Okay. Oh man, there's so much stuff. What is this here? Divine Storm projects an additional wave of light striking enemies. Okay, so we can up our Divine Storm if we want to. I think we want to pick up Divine Toll and maybe we can boost, like, let's boost Judgment, right? Go here. And then I think we want to go here with the Flash of Light one. Not really worried about taking either one of those right now. Let's go there. Divine Toll. Oh man, there's so much. Okay, so what do we have here? So this is Spending Holy Power grants you haste into Execution Sentence, into our choices there. Okay. Did we miss this one? I think we might have missed this one. Templar's Verdict extends the duration of your active execution sentence, and the remaining duration of an active execution sentence cannot exceed 8 seconds. Or execution sentence now deals 15% of the damage taken from your abilities during its active time to the target and nearby enemies within 8 yards. Okay. While you benefit from Art of War, you gain Seraphim for 2 seconds. The light magnifies your power for 15 seconds, granting a bunch of stats. Judgment empowers your next Templar's Verdict to automatically trigger Divine Storm. Okay, so that's where we can get into the single target and AoE kind of synergies there. We could take Cast Judgment every 5 seconds. Judgment grants you Virtuous Command for 5 seconds, which causes your Templar's Verdict, Crusader Strike, and Blade of Justice and auto attacks to deal additional holy damage. We're going to get this because I want to get Final Reckoning with the passive. Alright, we got 1 point left, so let's just see what these are. Templar's Verdict has a 15% chance to strike again for 30% of its damage. Replace Templar's Verdict with Final Verdict, a devastating strike that deals holy damage, and has a 15% chance to activate Hammer of Wrath and reset its cooldown. Hammer of Wrath has 2 extra charges and increases holy damage done by 2% for 10 seconds, stacking 3 times. Okay. We're going to do that. Okay, there's a lot going on here, and just based on what I'm seeing here, this seems like a really exciting tree for me, at least for questing and leveling. There's like a lot of... We took this build, and I feel like there's like 3 or 4 other builds we could have gone with here. So basically what I went for here was trying to go heavy into the reset, the Art of War, and get resets on full Wake of Ashes for the huge damage. And in the meantime, just make Judgment like really beastly. So let's apply changes. We'll set up our bars and then we'll come back through and look at the actual talents here. And we'll go from there. Oops, my bad. Okay. So let's look at this because I think there's some layers in here. So we picked up Blade of Justice. We picked up Divine Storm. We picked up Shield of Vengeance for some defense. We picked up Wake of Ashes. We picked up Divine Toll, and we picked up Final Reckoning. So, our Blade of Justice has an 11-second cooldown. It will generate 2 holy power for us. So we want to use it basically on cooldown to generate 2 holy power. Now with that, we have Art of War, which has a chance to reset the cooldown of Blade of Justice. But we turn that into an ability that can reset Wake of Ashes. Wake of Ashes is going to do a ton of damage to the enemies in front of us. That's the main thing we need to worry about. And also generate 3 holy power. Now, normally it's a 45-second cooldown, which we're okay with anyway, but if we get resets, that's awesome. We want to make sure that when we are casting Wake of Ashes, we're spending the holy power and then getting a chance to reset. So that's based on our auto attacks. Now here, where's it at? Where did we pick? We picked this up somewhere. Art of War resets the cooldown of Blade of Justice 100% more often and increases its damage. Now what I'm hoping is that that applies to the resets that we're getting for Wake of Ashes. So we actually get like a 24% chance to reset Wake of Ashes, which is a little insane. But that's okay. Now with that, we have Zeal. So Judgment is going to empower us with Zeal, causing our next 3 auto attacks to occur faster and deal additional damage. Those occurring faster means we get a smaller window where we get the chance to reset the proc on Wake of Ashes, right? So that's kind of what we have going on. Then we have the Blade of Justice cast with Art of War, shatters while emerging, casting Consecration. So again, I'm hoping that this one applies to Wake of Ashes. So we'll basically cast Wake of Ashes, we'll deal a ton of damage, and that should cast Consecration for us on the target as well. Then we'll cast Judgment. Judgment will give us Zeal, and those auto attacks will have a chance to reset the cooldown on Wake of Ashes so that we can turn around and cast it again, deal a bunch of damage, and recast Consecration. That's the loop I'm trying to create here. So in addition, Wake of Ashes is going to burn the target for some additional damage. Now, since we're kind of counting on Judgment to get us into Zeal and speed us up, we went ahead and we boosted some of the stuff for Judgment. So we've reduced the cooldown by 1 second, which means it now has a 9.9 second cooldown. Okay. Then we've increased the damage. We've given it a chance to chain to a nearby enemy. We've given it a chance to cast a second time and deal additional damage to the target. Right? So we can just spit out a bunch of judgments all at once based on that. Then we also down here picked up Judgment granting us Virtuous Command, which causes our Templar's Verdict, Crusader Strike, Blade of Justice, and auto attacks to deal additional damage. So once we cast Judgment, basically our Holy Power spending abilities, our Holy Power generating abilities, and our auto attacks will deal increased damage, which is pretty sick. Then down here, we have Final Reckoning. While off cooldown, our attacks have a chance to call down a bolt that deals holy damage and causes the target to take 10% increased damage from your next Holy Power ability. Again, that's our attacks, which are going to be sped up by Zeal. Now, we've got a couple oddball talents in here that we took along the way. So, our Blade of Justice generates 1 additional Holy Power. We picked that up. We picked 2 charges for Crusader Strike. We picked up Blade of Justice critical hits, burning the targets. We did pick up a reduction for cooldown, or for Crusader Strike. And it grants a chance for our next Holy Power spinning ability to consume 1 less Holy Power. We've got Holy Power spinning abilities giving us a free Flash of Light if we wait long enough. And then to cap all this off, we've got Divine Toll. So Divine Toll is going to instantly cast Judgment on up to 5 targets within 30 yards. Divine Toll's Judgment deals increased damage, but we also picked up this ability here that when we cast Divine Toll, we will instantly cast Judgment every 5 seconds for 15 seconds. So with that, we're going to get Zeal, right? Zeal causes our next 3 auto attacks, so we will cast Divine Toll, it'll cast Judgment, we get Zeal for 3 auto attacks, Judgment cast again, Zeal again, Judgment cast again, Zeal again. You get what I'm saying? And that whole time we're hoping to get the procs to reset Wake of Ashes. And we could have done something totally different here. But this is what seems kind of fun to me. So I'm thinking that generally speaking here, we're going to want to open with Wake of Ashes into Divine Toll or regular Judgment, right? So that we can get Zeal and all the bonuses and stuff that we get from Judgment. Then at that point, we will Crusader Strike and we will cast either... we're going to use our Blade of Justice as well. So it'll be Wake of Ashes into 3 Holy Power, right? So we cast that, get it on cooldown. Judgment will give us a 4th Holy Power, possibly more if it chains. I'm not sure if the chaining is going to grant us an additional Holy Power. We'll have to see. We'll want to spin that on a Templar's Verdict or a Divine Storm based on whether or not we want to do single target or AoE. Then we'll want to go into our normal cycle of Blade of Justice, right? To get that on cooldown, generate 2 Holy Power, into Crusader Strike to generate more Holy Power, to go back to our Templar's Verdict or Divine Storm. Or if we need healing, we do have Word of Glory, but ideally what we're doing is we're spending our Holy Power on Templar's Verdict or Divine Storm in order to build up our little buff here for a instant cast Flash of Light to heal us. We do have Hammer of Wrath for when the target gets reduced below 20% health, which we won't be able to see on the target dummy, but that is there as well. We also do have the opportunity to use Final Reckoning to deal a buttload of damage to targets in the area and make them take increased damage from our Holy Power, but in general, we kind of just have this for the passive high chance to deal an extra bolt of holy damage and make them take extra holy damage from our next Holy Power ability. Okay. Let's look at it on the target dummy, right? So again, Wake of Ashes is 3 points. We want to Wake of Ashes into Judgment, right? Then we want to spin that Holy Power on something, loop back around to Blade of Justice, Crusader Strike, get into the loop, hope that along the way, Wake of Ashes gets reset. Oh man, that's a lot. Let's do it. It sounds fun to me though. All right, so Wake of Ashes. This is going to be right up close. We did not get the... Okay, so we won't get the Consecration there, right? So we'll Judgment. All right, we'll go here, here, Crusader Strike, Crusader Strike. We are not getting that proc, like, at all. I don't know if it's not implement. Oh, look. Oh, that's Blade of Wrath. I'm not sure. There's our free Flash of Light. I'm just messing around trying to get these procs here. Hey, we got it right there. Okay, so how long do we have for this? Oh, it's gone. Dang it, it's gone. I wanted to... Okay, I'm not going to cast Consecration because I want to see... I'm just spamming stuff right now because I'm trying to get this Wake of Ashes proc, so don't worry too much about the rotation right now. Free Flash of Light. Oh, we got Consecration. Okay. I don't know if this is working correctly. So we have Blade of Wrath. Your next... It deals increased damage. That's here. Art of War resets the cooldown of Blade of Justice 100% more often and increases its damage by 25%. But this is supposed to be Art of War has a chance to reset the cooldown of Wake of Ashes instead of Blade of Justice. And I don't think that that is working. Right? So we're just going to auto attack here. We'll cast Judgment again to get our speed up. See? Right there. Blade of Justice got reset. Wake of Ashes did not. Cast Blade of Justice, we get Consecration. So my entire build here does not work because that talent is bugged. I think it's this specific talent is not working. I'm gonna... Still going to Blade of Justice. I was really excited about this too. I'm like super disappointed here. So here's what we're gonna do for now, right? We're gonna swap to Path of Ruin. That's the only change we're gonna make. So now we're just gonna see if we can, you know, generate some holy power here. So instead, we are going to cast Blade of Justice first into Judgment, right? So we've got 3 points. There we go. All right, that's going to go on cooldown, right? We'll throw out our Consecration since, you know, we don't have that. I'm just clicking here right now because I'm just trying to... We don't really need to move or anything, and I'm trying to pay attention to, like, cooldowns and stuff. All right, let's do this. Gotta reset. Oops. Dang it, didn't mean to cast that. Did it cast Judgment multiple times? I didn't see it do that either. We're gonna have to check that again too. Man, such potential, but I feel like the bugs are kind of screwing us up here. Alright, let's see if this does this. Judgment. Did it cast it? Okay. So it did cast it. It cast it on a single target. Okay, got it. Okay. Okay, well, all things said here, I think, you know, that one talent I would definitely change because I want this to be like a reset Wake of Ashes build. And if we were even getting resets on Wake of Ashes like half as much as we were getting resets on Blade of Justice, because let's see, we have a 12% chance to reset the cooldown of Blade of Justice normally. And then we made it 100% more often, right? So 24% chance, I believe, unless the tooltip updated. This turns it into a 35% chance to reset the cooldown of Wake of Ashes instead. So we should be getting resets basically as much as that. I feel like this build will be insane when this talent actually, like, I feel like they're going to have to nerf that percentage. That percentage seems too high. But maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. That being said, I think the build, the way it is still one that I want to take out into open world and kind of see what it can do. Generally, I still like the overall idea here. I need to see like how sustainable this build is. Like if we're taking enough damage that getting the Flash of Light instant cast is not enough healing, if it's not like frequent enough. But other than that, I mean, I think I'm really excited about the potential of this build. I'm really excited about this tree in general. It looks pretty fun. It looks like there's definitely a few different things you can do with it, and I think that makes it really interesting. But we're gonna take this out maybe by the time I get around to doing the showcase out in the open world, which we're going to do for all specializations. Go out and test them and see how they work. Maybe by the time I get around to that, there'll be a new build out where they actually fix this talent. That being said, I'll be doing those videos as live streams actually, so you guys can come and chime in, watch the video with me, provide suggestions, or maybe talk about things that you know, I didn't notice, or make your own suggestions for things that we can test out. So I definitely hope you guys can show up to that. That being said, I think that's what I got for you in this video. So don't forget to throw a thumbs up or a like on it. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments section below if you're enjoying this series and you want to see more stuff like this after the alpha. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.